my sense of this, despite my objections on the grounds of sovereignty and continued checks of some nature on goods travelling between English ports and Northern Ireland, my sense of this is the Prime Minister is going to win this in Westminster pretty comfortably.
Yes, the Prime Minister is certainly enjoying his moment in the sun. I've just been in the chamber hearing him speak, and he's sounding very chipper indeed. And it's very clear why. The atmosphere generally in Westminster is hugely positive. There's a feeling that Rishi Sunak has achieved something that his predecessors thought were impossible. The biggest breakthrough, perhaps, is that he's actually managed to reopen the text of the withdrawal agreement treaty, meaning that, for example, the UK, Northern Ireland, can now diverge on tax, on VAT, if the UK chooses to. So, for example, if the UK lowers alcohol duty, then a pint will be cheaper both in mainland Britain and in Northern Ireland. Now, that is seen as a huge breakthrough, as is this new green lane for goods coming out of Great Britain into Northern Ireland, meaning that, for example, online shopping, which was previously a pretty arduous process with lots and lots of checks, will now be made much easier. Sausages and cold meats, which was mentioned a bit earlier, those were subject to very, very stringent checks, which was making life very difficult for butchers in Northern Ireland. So there are lots of practical changes which are very, very good news and have managed to garner the support of some very strident Brexiteers. So, for example, I spoke to David Davis earlier, who said that the Prime Minister had played a blinder. Now, of course, David Davis resigned as Brexit Secretary when he didn't like Theresa May's deal. Also spoke to Steve Baker, who told me that he was prepared to resign as late as yesterday, but Rishi Sunak had reassured him that the terms of this deal were such huge concessions that he couldn't resist supporting it. So, yes, I think you're absolutely right that the deal will get through Westminster, and I think you're right that there won't be any cabinet resignations. Of course, the big fly in the ointment is that it doesn't sound like the DUP is happy. I spoke to Sammy Wilson just now, not Sammy Wilson, Ian Paisley just now, and he said that the Stormont brake was like having a handbrake, but it's under the seat of your driving seat and you'll never actually be able to use it. He said, he used exactly the same phrase as you, that his gut instinct, although he does want to read the legal text of the agreement, his gut instinct is that it simply won't cut the mustard. So that's a bit of an issue for Rishi Sunak, but it's certainly the happiest I've heard him sounding in a long time. And in some respects, this could be the end of a very, very thorny process.